Hey y'all, welcome to Veggie Farm. I'm Stacy, and today I'm going to take you with me while I get some chores done in the garden to get ready for spring planting. I have a new tool. We're going to see how well that works to take down the old hibiscus branches that I had left over. They had gotten pretty thick, so I needed a little something more powerful to help get that taken down. I have a couple of areas that need to be cleaned up. I'll show you that, and I'll just show you around and show you how everything's looking right now. So let's get started.
Sunshine, I've been waiting.
Here's my Meyer lemon. It's full of blooms. It's been blooming for a while, and I like to keep it right here by this door in front of this brick wall because it stays a little warmer right here, and it's easy to bring it in anytime we have a freeze. And besides that, as soon as you walk out the door, these blooms smell like candy. In these other pots, I have some thyme and some mint plants that really need to be cut back. I already see they have some new green growth, so I need to get those cut back so they'll be ready to grow again for spring. And right down here at the bottom in these terracotta pots, I have bulbs planted in all of these pots. I see some are starting to sprout, but I've never grown bulbs before, so hopefully those all work out. It's my rosemary plant, and then my lavender plant is starting to bloom. I have some violas that I've had throughout the fall and winter, and they are still looking really pretty. Just have some trellises stored here against the wall. And then I'll swing right around over here. I also have some bulbs planted in these two planters, and if you look closely, you can see that they are starting to sprout up a little bit in both pots. And then this is my elderberry starting to put on some new leaves, and that one is growing right out of the bottom of the pot. You can see there's some cleanup to do. There's been some heavy winds, so stuff has started to blow around. And then right over here, this is part of the cleanup that needs to be done as well. There's just some old pots, nursery pots from when I bought flowers from the nursery, and just old pots that need to be, thrown away, emptied out. This bed has onions in it. It's covered so the squirrels don't dig it up. And this is just more area that needs to be cleaned up. Old trays and pots that need to be washed so that I can use them for this spring. And here in this green stalk, I have onions planted in both sections. Right over here, it's just some old potting soil, and then I have all of my trellises just kind of stored there. This is my loquat tree, and it actually has put on a lot of new leaves throughout this winter and fall. Looks like something is eating at it, and some of the leaves look a little weathered, but it's hanging in there. This is an in-ground flower bed that I was creating. And this is my herb bed. I have some marshmallow plant that's growing in, some lamb's ear, and then this is my mullein that's still doing well. Right over here is my strawberry tower. And as you can see, it's starting to get really faded. The buckets are getting really faded out by the sun. I have some garlic up here in the top. I'm thinking about replacing those buckets because I just don't like the way that faded looks. And this is a mulberry tree given to me by Belle's Backyard Garden, and it's starting to leaf out. I'm looking forward to seeing that grow. Right up here is chamomile that's starting to grow in. And in each of the corners of these beds, I have some onions planted. You can see I have some old rat traps that need to be reset. By the way, those really work well, that style of trap. And then right here, I have a gardenia plant. I'm not sure if that's gonna make it. I have two of those. So I'll leave it for a while and see what happens, and then I'll replace it with some flowers. Then I have a couple of honeyberries, and that one is a blue velvet honeyberry. And that one's just an empty pot for flowers. And then this one is a blue moon honeyberry. And I've never had honeyberries before, but I was interested in seeing if I could get those to grow. And so that's the other gardenia plant. And the other empty bed. And in this one, I just have some garlic growing. In the hanging basket, I have some strawberries and garlic. And you can see the squirrels have been digging in this one. Then I was trying to create another in-ground flower bed over here as well. Right here, this is my strawberry bed. I kind of transitioned some of the strawberries out of that tower, and I'm gonna use this bed instead for my strawberries. And this is what it looks like in there. I planted some garlic in the middle of the bed. And so that's what half of it looks like. The other half has strawberries in it as well. And then this is the project for today. This is the old hibiscus. And you see it had gotten so large, I basically have it tied to the fence post. And this is the Saker chainsaw. It was really easy to use. All I had to do was make sure the battery was fully charged and it was ready to go. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me and how to hold it. I think I was using more of a sawing motion than was necessary. Could have just let the saw do more of the work. And as you can see, I did have on my safety glasses because it was shredding the wood and it was throwing up a little bit of sawdust. So it's always good to put on some safety glasses. So I was able to get this tree all the way chopped down. The branches were too thick just for regular clippers, so this really worked out well. And this is the last of the two plants. Pulling that out. And I was interested to see how deep these roots really were since that plant was so large. I mean, it's a lot of roots, but it was less than what I actually was expecting. I thought this was going all the way deep into the ground, deeper than the pot. I thought these roots were really going to be extended into the ground. But that Saker chainsaw was easy to use and it made this a quick and easy project. And this is where I'm starting a little compost pile. I've been putting dead leaves and old soil, so I'm just waiting for that to break down. And right over here, I have some blueberries, and this is the pink lemonade blueberry. It looks like it's starting to bud out just a little bit. So that one did make it through the winter. Now this other one, I'm not so sure. Its branches aren't even green anymore. It was in an older pot that had broken and I tried to transfer it, so that one may not make it. What is it called? A sunshine blueberry. And here is my burdock root, and I'm not sure if that made it through the freeze, but I'm definitely going to give it a chance to see if it grows back. And down here I had some grasses that I was using as decoration, along with some flowers in between. The flowers didn't make it for sure. I thought the grasses would come back. I'm not sure. Called mondo grass. These are my combination cherry trees. This is my double gold raspberry. It's starting to leaf out. And this is the black mission fig. And this is the Olympian fig tree. And then right up here is my Miwa kumquat. And it's still doing really well. I did bring it in during those freezes and kept it in the garage, so it is still holding on. And I thought I had pulled off all of the little kumquats on it, but it looks like I have a new one for me. And these are just some empty buckets over here. But this is a new tree I have, and it's a lang jujube or jujube. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's a lang variety. Just got that one, and so I just have it in this pot as a placeholder until I can get it planted. Have a couple more empty pots over here, and then this is my compost bin. And then this collection of pots over here is starting to look a little tired to me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to repaint them or replace them. And this is comfrey in that pot back there. And then right over here, this is another piece of my elderberry that I rooted, and it's starting to leaf out. And this is just what's left in this bed that needs to be harvested. Purple Brussels sprouts here in the front. And then right over here in the back, there are some other Brussels sprouts. I think they were called Hestia Brussels sprouts, and it's time for those to come off as well. And then I'll remove those 2 plants. And I have planted onions around the corners of these beds as well. And then here, this is Premier Kale. These 2 plants are both Premier Kale, so they lasted through the freeze. And this is Scarlet Kale, and it's like the star of the garden. It's the prettiest thing in the garden right now. And this one is a Scarlet Kale as well. There's such a difference between how the 2 look. And right over here is some Curly Kale. As you can see next to it, the squirrels have been digging in here as well. And then right back here, there's some collards that are starting to grow back. And I have a little section of onions that I planted right over here. I had some onions left over from when I planted the onion bed, so I made a little square right there and planted those. And this is some spinach. And right here in the front, a few more purple Brussels sprouts that need to come out. And then these are some collards. So this is the part of the garden I'm least satisfied with. I'm going to get rid of these pallets and get my trees out of these tubs. And I've had these planters made. They're open bottom, so I'm going to plant my trees in those. You can see I had a lot of flags throughout the garden, and that's because I had the utility departments come by and mark where I can actually dig it. And so I'm going to get these planters planted, and I'll take y'all on the journey. So keep watching. Happy growing.